Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gamechat Podcast. I actually don't know what number this is. I never even thought I would have to keep track. But
It says
welcome
6
back.
in the doc.
Oh, okay, there we go. I actually did know what number it was. Welcome back to podcast number 6. We have a lot to talk about. I don't know if we'll get to all of it, but before we do, I do want to introduce my guest here with me today. And let's start with Joel. Joel, tell the people what you do on the internet. And yeah.
I surf the internet mostly. I'm an internet surfer. I don't do anything special. I'm just on. I do potting with the GVN and play games and watch movies and anime and video games. And so I'm a giant nerd, I guess. Geek, more geeky than anything.
Dope. And then next up, we have Joanne, someone I've been trying to get on this podcast for the past 3 times, but he's finally here. Say what's up to the people, Joanne.
I have never received an invitation. This is blasphemy. This is trying to defamate my name. No, I'm super glad to be here. I'm a big fan of your content, Jamie, so I'm glad that I am finally here. And I will definitely be on more. I'm just really glad to talk some video games with you guys.
Yeah. And then one of my reoccurring guests, Didge. What's going on, Didge?
What's up, everybody? Again, Didge.
Loyal.
I'm fully here, unlike Juan, but doing.
Ooh, shots fired.
I think I'm already by now. I've told you guys you can find me on Gamechat Podcast and GVN on Mondays and other days. I guess I don't know. Whatever I get bored.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I know the last couple podcasts, me and Didge and Trayvon and Mike talked about our most anticipated / favorite things, games that we were looking forward to for this year. And so I wanted to extend that same invitation to you, Joel, and Jawan. So Joel, let's start with you. Top 3 favorite or just most anticipated games for 2023.
My top 3 at the moment is Spider-Man 2, because that game and its predecessor, the Miles spinoff, were awesome. Excuse me. And the second one I had was Tears of the Kingdom, that we're gonna talk about later, because that looks amazing. I'm a big fan of Legend of Zelda, and Breath of the Wild was amazing. So I can't wait for the sequel. Then we have Diablo 4, because I'm a huge Diablo mark. So yeah, I can't wait for Diablo.
See, I'm glad you put Diablo on your list, because I feel like almost nobody the last couple times we podcasted have talked about Diablo. So I'd be interested to hear your take on on some of the different Diablo things that have been going on, and just what your general thoughts on Diablo 4 too. So that's good.
No problem.
All right, Jawan, what's your top 3 for this year?
Number 1 is Jedi Survivor. Star Wars is everything to me, and I can't wait to see how they expand the timeline with Cal Kestis. And they did say it's going to be more of an open world than the first one was, so I'm curious how much more open world. So I'm very excited to see that. Assassin's Creed Mirage. There are not many Assassin's Creed games I dislike. There are some that are just forgettable. But I am very loyal to the world of Assassin's Creed. And last but not least, wait, I'm trying to remember, what was my third? Oh yeah, Spider-Man 2.
Come on now.
Yeah, I'm like, I confused myself for a second. It's funny because Joel said it, so then in my head I'm like, did I already say it? Right. Again, just alone, what got me hyped for that game is to know that you gave the voice of Venom to Tony Todd. Just that alone is exciting me. So yeah, those are 3 games I'm very much excited for this year.
Yeah, speaking of Tony Todd, he's bringing a lot of heat to he's bringing a lot of heat to Spider-Man 2, talking about possible release windows, and Insomniac has not given us a word. So yeah, Tony Todd came with some more baggage than Insomniac thought he would bring, but I am looking forward to his performance, and I don't think they're really taking it too harshly. It's all in good fun and just trying to hype people up.
I mean, he's also old. You don't yell at old people. So.
He is old.
Fair,
so he has that.
Fair. I see Trayvon, you made it. Welcome to the pod. We were just getting through some introductions, talking about people's favorite games of the year. So now we are going to go into the vibe check, I've been calling it. I don't know. And we're starting with rumors, since there's a lot to explore here. And I'm going to try go through things as quickly as possible, because I know we could talk about these things forever. Well, not as quickly as possible, but we're trying to get to as many topics as possible, so that way y'all know what's going on with the game industry. But the first rumor I have up here is that Rockstar is targeting a holiday 2024 release date for GTA 6. I don't know if this holds that much water. Would I love to see it happen? Yes, but I mean, the leaks that we saw last year, I think it was, or was it early this year? I don't know. Within the past few months, they looked pretty good, and like the game didn't seem like it was that far off from being completed. So holiday 2024 might not be baseless, but Rockstar hasn't said this themselves, so I'm just gonna, when they say something, then I'll move. But what do you guys think? 2024, is that too soon for GTA 6, or is that, you feel like that's realistic, Didge?
That's definitely realistic. I remember when that report, I think it was a Bloomberg report back 2022, they were essentially like, we're about 2 years off. So that gives you right around that time frame. So fingers crossed, because I don't know anyone who could say it's too soon when GTA 5 is on what, year 10?
Yeah. But I mean, like, they announced that they were working on the game officially last year, so it's just like that amount of time, you would assume they would take a little bit more, but we all know that they've been working on it like way before they said that. So yeah, it does make sense.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. What about you, Joel? Do you think that 2024 is realistic for GTA 6?
I didn't know what was going on 10 years. So I want to say possibly yes, because I mean, it's been long enough at this point.
Yep.
I'm not the biggest GTA guy anyway, but I don't know. It might sound weird, but playing Fortnite lately has made me kind of remind me of those old GTA games. So it's like, maybe I will give it a chance next time.
Interesting. Trayvon or Joel, or sorry, not Joel, Jawan, you guys think this is a good estimate, or you're not gonna really lose hope over this?
I feel like it's a good time frame, I guess. It's been a long time. It's about, finally, I would say, if that is the date, but I don't know. They talked about a game, like they said they were working on it. We haven't heard anything since. So it'll be good because people have been waiting on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess.
From what we saw from the leaks.
For it.
Yeah. Well, from what we saw from the leaks, it did look like the game had like been vastly improved in my opinion, and like kind of moving towards what I feel like Cyberpunk was trying to do with their game. So, and that, in terms of speaking of those aspects, I could see how the game could take longer, but I would love a 2024 release date. So, what about you, Jawan? Same feelings, or you think?
Well, I mean, for me, we know the reason why it's going on year 10, year 11 is because they found out that they had a whole new market in online gaming for GTA. So, I mean, I guess for them financially, it's just whenever that starts to flame out, right? It's not like they're in a rush, because clearly their core fan base is still playing that. I don't know if they're still coming up with updated stuff for it. But I'm gonna say this: I approach GTA the same way I approach movies that I'm looking forward to that I know are like a few years out. To me, if you decide for it to come out that far away, it's a good and a bad thing. The good thing of it is that you have all that time to, I guess, change when it comes out. It could come out sooner. But also, I know that you're taking the time necessary to perfect this game that we assume we'll be playing for the next 10 to 11 years before they make another one. So I'm fine with it if it doesn't come out next year, because I know that they're trying to perfect it. Because I thought the last one was arguably the greatest Grand Theft Auto game to date. So to me, if you want to go bigger and better, take your time, perfect it.
Rockstar, don't listen to him saying that they're fine waiting.
Cut
Don't listen to him on
the tape.
I mean,
cut the tape.
I did specify that I'm fine waiting. Their core
I
fan
don't
base,
care.
if they're still playing the online, they've been doing that for 10 years. So, I mean, clearly they're okay waiting.
I don't want
Well-
them to point to you and be like, see, someone gets it.
We should also say though that the player base has been so strong for like almost 10 years or 10 years at this point because they keep adding content. They keep adding free DLC that people can take part in, and they're probably going to do the same thing with GTA 6, so we'll be playing that for who knows how long. So that's part of the reason why like they've been comfortable taking this long of a break. But yeah, hopefully they've been also putting resources towards GTA 6 in the background too, so we won't have to
Definitely
wait
fingers
too long.
crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. Fingers crossed. Something I don't have my fingers crossed for though, there is a rumor that there is a new PlayStation handheld that might be released at some point this year, or excuse me, announced at some point this year. But the rumors of what this handheld is sound a little bit strange. So I went ahead and went to Tom Henderson's report of this, and it's called Codename Q Lite for the moment, and it's not a cloud streaming device, but it sounds pretty much like a cloud streaming device in my opinion, and it will use remote play with the PlayStation 5. And it looks like a PlayStation 5 controller, but it has like a massive 8-inch LCD screen in the center, and then the device is also going to have adapter triggers for haptic feedback. It's going to have volume button speakers, audio jack, all of that. And so I don't know, to me this sounds like the Wii U gamepad. It doesn't sound like something the PS5 needs, I think, and I feel like no games, at least that I can think of, would incorporate something like that very well. I would much rather have like a Vita 2 and for them to actually support that handheld, because I actually really liked the Vita for what feels like the short amount of time that they actually supported it. But what do you think, Trayvon, about this rumor of this handheld? Is this something that you would buy or be excited about?
It does sound like the Wii U gamepad. I don't know the point of it now because we already have phones. So it's like you already have like ways to play the games wherever you want to. I mean, this thing sounds like it's just for in your house, so that definitely sounds like I could just pull out my phone and do that. And also, I mean, it's weird because they have they have the backbone that they made for iPhone, like officially. All that, so you can just buy that. It's supposed to be your portable way of playing your PlayStation. So it's just like, well, what is the? I don't know. It's almost just like they're just like, what else can we throw at them to make more money off of people? Like, yeah, the PlayStation is already what $400 or $500. Why not add on something else? I'm like, it just I don't know. It sounds dumb, to be honest. When I first heard it, I was like, this, all that. So
I don't know how you really feel.
I know, I'm kind of with you, Trayvon. There are like multiple rumors that there's supposed to be a new piece of Sony hardware, or specifically PlayStation hardware, coming out soon-ish. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this. And I hope that it's not this, personally. But what do you think about this? You buying the Q Lite day one?
No, I had just got the backbone. So to what Trayvon was saying, I have what I need for this. It does work really well with the backbone, so shout out to them. But to the point of it being a cloud streaming device or quote unquote remote play, which is really cloud streaming. What are we doing semantics there? It just doesn't seem useful. Give me something that I can download games to, then I'd probably buy it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. What about you, Joanne? You buying this, or are you with Dig?
No, I'm with Dig and Trayvon. I have not gotten a backbone yet. Because I'm not much of a traveler, but my mom has me doing a bunch of traveling later on this year, so I was going to invest in one. And it essentially sounds like what I could just do with that. Just hook essentially a controller into my phone and just play that way. So I don't really understand what they're trying to tell us is the big difference here. But I am with you. I am a massive Vita fan. I had almost every game for Vita. I swore by it. So for me, doing a part 2 of that would be something that interests me. But what this sounds like, I could just get the backbone and be just as happy for less the money, I guess. So I do agree with Dig there.
Yeah, I charge $100 for this, so
right.
Your
backbone
is
only
gonna
$100. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I mean, they already they have the PS Remote Play app. Like, well, what is the point of that app if you have? It just doesn't make any sense. So like, that's one thing I do now. Like, I'll use my iPad, plug in a controller, and I could do the same thing. So it just doesn't make any sense.
now it does sound like something a company would do is if they took that ability away to force you to have to get something like this. Now, if they do that,
that would be really
then sure, if you're forcing my hand, but
I feel like they're not gonna want to deal with that backlash.
Well, then I don't understand what the difference is. They would have to explain what the difference is here, because I mean, if I could just do that already with the backbone, I don't understand. Why would I need this?
I feel like it's trying to advertise to like people who are lazy enough to want to have this product so that they could play games like in their bed or on their couch or somewhere else in their house that's not in front of their TV, but are also like not proactive enough to just sit at their console, I guess, or they just don't want to sit at their console, which it sounds like a very specific and like not super huge audience to me. So I feel like if this handheld is real, there's definitely a lot of details that are missing that actually make it sound appealing, because from what I'm hearing right now, it just doesn't feel necessary to me. But do you agree with this sentiment, Joel, or you thinking this could be the next big handheld?
Can it? Sure. Well, will it be? Probably not, because I'm not the best audience for that. I don't really like playing handhelds, and I haven't cared about a handheld since Game Boy Advance. So for me, it's even less of a concern. I can probably count on one hand how many times I undock my Switch. Like, I don't care about handheld at all. I definitely don't. So for me, personally, it wouldn't make a difference at all. And like what you guys are saying, it almost defeats the purpose of what they already can do. It's almost like a waste of money. I don't see the point.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with y'all there, man. I am with y'all there. But on to the next thing. This rumor, which I'm cautiously optimistic about. Games Radar reported on a rumored Persona 3 remake and a Jet Set Radio reboot with leaks that have Sega footage, and I want to put this in quotations because, like, anything can be faked these days. But the footage that we did see looked incredibly convincing. I'm not gonna lie. As a Persona fan, looking at like the P3 like reboot footage, which was pretty limited to just like exchange in a battle, I feel like this could be done by maybe booting up Persona 5 and putting in a mod or something, or maybe even Strikers and putting in a mod. I can't unfortunately like put my faith into this reboot rumor, just because I feel like there's so many ways that they could get around like putting the models of people from Persona 3 into a video game. But the Jet Set Radio reboot, that looked incredibly convincing to me. And I don't think that I'm not like super familiar with Jet Set Radio. Unfortunately, that was like a game that I never got to play growing up. But from the footage that I've seen of Jet Set Radio and then the leaked footage, those looked like two completely separate things. So I'll start with you, Joelle. I don't know if you saw these leaks, but if you did, do you think that they're real? And if you haven't seen them, do you hope that they're real?
I've not seen them. Do I hope that they're real? It wouldn't make a difference to me. I'm not a big Persona guy, but it's because I've never played them.
All right,
get them off the chat. Get them out of here.
Well, here's the thing. My introduction to Persona was through fucking Smash Brothers. So there.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, a lot of people. That's how it happened with a lot of people. So I can't blame you for that.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that game until and then from there I found out there was like tons of fans. I know a lot of people that do like Persona, but I just never played it or heard of it until Joker showed up. And the first surprise, the title card for Smash. I'm like, oh, who the hell is that? I have no idea who that character is. Cool. So I'm not super. It wouldn't be super exciting for me, but I know there's a fan base for Persona. Jet Set Radio, I know little, but I've heard of Jet Set, and it looked really cool at the time when it came out. But I've never played it myself either. So I wouldn't be super excited because I never played it. But Jet Set did look cool, so a reboot would probably look cool too, I have to imagine.
Okay. What about you, Jawan? Have you seen any of the rumored footage? Or are you excited for these possible remakes?
I know it's going to be hard to believe, but my answer is actually exactly the same as Joel's, but worse because I did not actually play with the character in Smash Brothers. So I'm like, I know who the character is. I've just never played as the character. I've never played Persona.
Removing you from the podcast. No.
But again, to be fair, it's not like I played it and don't like it or I don't like it kind of thing. I've just never played it. Yeah. So maybe doing a reboot is something that can get me interested enough to play it. Mm-hmm. But as of now, I've never played the game before.
That's fair. Now, I did hear Trayvon was talking a little bit while I was, mentioning that these rumored games have been there's leaked footage out there. So it seems like you've seen this footage, Trayvon. Is that true?
Yeah, I did see it.
Okay. So what do you think? You think it's real?
I mean, the context what they're saying, it sounds like it's real, just not something that we were supposed to see. So, I don't know. It looks really cool. It looks like a very updated version of the game from years ago. I remember playing it on, I believe, Xbox.
Playing Jet Set?
Yeah, the first. Yeah, I guess it was the first one or whatever. I think it was called Future or something like that. I can't remember. I think it just said Radio Future or something like that. So
that was the one. Yeah, that was the one. Second one.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I remember playing that. I do not remember exactly what the concept of the game was. I just know it was fun. You could skate around and like go on walls and stuff. I don't know. Yeah. It was just like where you could like spray paint shit. I don't know. It was I don't remember like there was a plot. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but it was a fun game to play. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people like, oh, so excited for that again. So if they do it, cool. I don't know why they're hiding it. I mean, just come on. Like if you're working on it, that's cool. Like gets people excited for it. I'm sure everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how far along these projects are, so maybe that's why we haven't seen like a whole lot. Maybe they, had just started development within the past few months. So hopefully we will hear something soon. But as far as like things that are like Jet Set Radio, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is created by someone who was inspired by Jet Set Radio and also as a composer that I believe worked on Jet Set Radio. And that game, I think the release date actually just got moved to be determined because I think the dev is like a small development team, I believe. So I don't know. We'll have to keep our eye out for it though. From the previews that I saw though, it looked pretty sick. It looked pretty cool. You might be
Oh,
interested in
this,
that.
this looks just like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what
Mhm.
about you, Didge? Did you see the footage?
I did. I know the footage. I remember looking it up. It was set. It was supposed to be from 2021, so they better be further along in development by now.
Yeah, hopefully.
Oh, but honestly, I don't want a Persona 3 remake. Persona 6. We've been talking about wanting Persona 6 forever now. Don't go back to a remake. Give me 6. And that's the main thing I have out of all of that is like a remake would be cool. I remember I had fond memories of playing it, but give me Persona 6 and Jet Set Radio. I had it. I didn't have the Xbox when it came out for Future. I did play Jet Set Radio because my brother had a Dreamcast, but I don't have really too fond memories of it because I didn't really own either system. Like I would have to play my brother's Dreamcast to play it and have to play like one of my friends' Xboxes to play Future. So it's like that doesn't mean too much to me. But Persona is give me 6. That's the main thing I want out of this.
I'm definitely with you there, Didge. I really want, hopefully in September they'll say something about Persona 6. I'm really hoping for that because it's starting to get to the, well, actually I can't even say this. I was gonna say it's starting to get to the point with Breath of the Wild as far as just like waiting, but even then, like I don't think we really had to wait that long from the moment they announced it to now it coming up to the release date. But we know, it's just like we know that there will be a Persona 6 just based on the success of 5 alone and like how much they keep jamming it into every mobile game and freaking even made a pachinko machine of Persona 5.
Yeah.
So
because what 5 came out, I think 2015, 2016. Then you had Royal that came out. Then you had Strikers, and it's like, give me. Let's go to the next number.
And then they have Persona 5, The Phantom X, which is a mobile game that's in beta right now. Which is another like I love the Persona 5 universe just as much as everybody else, but that doesn't mean I want to live the rest of like Persona there, like I want to see like what's next for it. So I'm definitely with you with that. And
what's with these game companies getting to 5 and then stopping?
Hey man, that's better than Valve. They can't cap the 3, so
that's fair.
they're getting better than Valve. But yeah, I wish I could say I feel confident that they're gonna announce Persona 6 this year, but who knows? Honestly, please Atlas, please. That's just something I would like to see. It's something I would like to see. And I was talking about this on my stream as a quick tangent. I was talking about this on my stream, but since I've started streaming, I've played a Persona game pretty much every year. And so I'm like, what am I gonna do this year? So now I'm going back to Persona 4 and playing that game, which is also a really good game that I've never played before. So there's no downgrade there. But give me Persona 5. Or sorry, give me Persona 6. Give me Persona 6.
Definitely.
Yeah, but on to the next one, which I don't know if we have too much to say. I'll kind of fill the room for this. But there is a rumor, this is like very, very recent, that the next Mario title is going to be a remaster of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Has anybody here played The Thousand Year Door?
I haven't.
I hear Paper Mario and I instantly turn away.
Oh,
Yes, same here. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
Oh.
I did not.
I say wow like that, like I played it, but still, wow.
I know. I mean, it was a very adverse effect. Just like, ooh, Paper Mario. Paper Mario, actually, the Thousand Year Door. I've never played it, but one of the Let's Players that I like to watch played through the game, and it actually was like pretty interesting. And in my opinion, one of the best Mario games I've seen so far. So I would love it if they did a remake or a remaster, because then I could get it and play it for myself and, bring it to a new generation. But but the thing is, though, for it to be the next Mario game, I would want something original instead of a remaster. Like, I would like to have Thousand Year Door, but I would rather have something original, because Odyssey was super great, and it feels like going backwards to something we've done in the past, but like a new coat of paint. That's like cool, but I want to see like what is Mario's like Tears of the Kingdom, you know? Like what is the next step for Mario? But yeah, that's just me.
I mean, yeah, it will be. I was hoping since Odyssey they've been working on something.
Mhm.
Like not a remaster of a game that are, sure you can make that too, but what's the next big one? Like you just had the movie come out, like you have no plans? Like
I mean, you owe us. We made that movie a massive box office hit. You owe us a good Mario game. Not a remaster of something. You owe us a good Mario game. That should be our reward for that.
It would be nice.
All right.
Now I'm gonna be honest. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games was fire.
Yeah.
Granted, that was.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree to that. But again, a solo Mario title is what we
Okay,
deserve.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
One, but I agree. I enjoyed that a lot.
I'm just saying, you're saying a good Mario game. Mario's been putting out heat for Tennis Aces was great. I enjoyed golf. Like I enjoyed Mario Party Superstars. So they haven't been putting out heat.
One look cool too.
I'm with you on all that, and you know what? You're absolutely right, Ditch. I'm glad you said it the way that you did. I apologize. Let me take back what I was saying. Make me another good Mario game. That's better.
Fair.
Make me another good.
No, I stick to where I said it. I need a solo Mario game where he's by himself or something like not Aces. Tennis. I don't need him playing no sports, all that stuff.
Hey, not too much on Mario sports.
Mario Tennis.
I said what I said.
I
need
a
game like Super Mario Sunshine, a separate game. Odyssey, a separate game. I need another one like that.
You know what? I'm not even gonna hold. If they want to give me a bridge game, I'm fine with another Luigi Mansion. I'm fine with another Luigi Mansion while you work on another Mario game. I'd be okay with that. I wouldn't have any major issues with that. I love.
When did Super Mario 3D World come out? Because that might have been their last. That might have been their last technically.
But that was just an add-on, right? They just added Bowser's Fury to it.
Yeah, because 3D World came out a while ago, and then they just added on. I mean, I wouldn't consider Bowser's Fury a full game, but if y'all want to,
that's fair. You're right. I'm trying to lend them grace.
Yeah, you're trying to give them some brownie points.
No, I'm not giving them none of that. Nope.
So yeah, I mean, it has been a while. So Nintendo, whatever you decide to do, I'm sure there are people mad either way. So good luck. Good luck. But the next thing we have that I'm personally a little peeved about, I was looking at Reddit, and apparently there is rumor that there are multiple Indiana Jones games in the works, which I think is kind of rich considering Bethesda has not said a damn thing since the teaser of the Indiana Jones game that they are supposed to be working on, that Todd Howard is directing. And it's developed by Machine Games, which is like under Bethesda, so it's not like directly them, but it's kind of them. It's the same people that did Wolfenstein. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this rumor basically comes from people are reading LinkedIn like job titles and their descriptions and stuff. And one of them was talking about an Indiana Jones project, and it said projects. And I don't know if it's a typo or if somebody kind of like misconstrued the meaning of what was in that text. I personally don't feel like there's multiple Indiana Jones games. There's just one. We barely even heard about it. So let's focus on the one we know about. Let's focus on the one we know about. I'm hoping like maybe they'll talk about it at Summer Games Fest /E3. I don't even know if we should use that title anymore. But I'm hoping they'll talk about it.
I was gonna say
yeah. I'm hoping that they'll talk about it at Summer Games Fest or just one of the many gaming events happening this summer. But we'll see. So y'all keep your eyes out for that. And then, as we were talking about earlier, with Tony Todd being the voice of Venom, Spider-Man 2 is rumored to be coming out in September of 2023 because Tony Todd tweeted out, like, oh, everybody get excited, it's looking like marketing is going to come out around August, and then the game will come out probably around September. And then that tweet got picked up by a lot of different platforms, and within like a couple hours, it was soon deleted. So he clearly got in trouble with some people at Insomniac. But it's exciting to hear that hopefully the game will come out in September. This is another one that we haven't really heard too much about since, I don't even know if I can't remember if it's gotten a second trailer or not, but pretty much from...
It's technically not giving you a first trailer. That first one was a teaser.
True. Yeah, since the teaser, we haven't really heard anything.
It was cinematic, really. It was just one of those things.
Yeah, it was just like a little, like, hey, the game's coming, and it's like, oh, when? They're like, I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Stop asking questions.
Yeah. Right. Stop asking me questions. Just
and it's funny because like last podcast, Mike, who was here, we talked about the fact that a lot of projects within the entertainment industry in general tend to announce projects like months or like years in advance, and it's kind of like tiring to see the same thing over and over again, and you to potentially like spoil your whole project. But with this one, I'm kind of like, where is the news? Where are the trailers? Where are the teasers? But I feel like it's kind of fair because like since the teaser, we haven't really heard anything about it. We don't know anything about this game. We don't even know if like we assume that you'll get to play as Peter and Miles. I believe the developers talked about this at one point. In like a PlayStation blog, but I'm pretty sure they said that you'll get to play as the both of them. But even then, we don't know like if there's a possible multiplayer element, if they're gonna be going outside of New York. I don't know, just a bunch of random BS that we don't know. And when it comes to a point like this where like we don't know anything, it's similar to Tears of the Kingdom actually, where like I was kind of upset for a while because we were getting closer and closer to this release date and we still knew nothing about this product that they want to push pre-orders on us and hope that we buy it. So I'm kind of with a similar situation with Spider-Man now, where I'm like, okay, like I don't think you have to spoil the whole game, but give me some information. Give me a reason to be excited to pre-order this, purchase this, support this project. And we just have not reached that point yet. So hoping that we hear something soon, but until then, you know, I'm gonna be sulking.
Until now, I'll be just watching over the Instagrams of the voice actors. So like, oh,
yep, watching out for Tony Todd.
Slip up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, don't do that because I kind of feel like the more these actors slip up and say shit that they shouldn't, the more that they go, well, push it back a week. Like we had a whole rollout that you just fucked up. Push it back.
The one that plays,
we weren't even looking for it for you to say anything.
I feel like the ones that like the one that's playing Peter Parker and Miles, they'll like go live and he'll have on like his like mocap suit or whatever. I'm like, they're still doing that. That's why I'm looking. I'm like, God, man, y'all not done. Like, so it kind of helps my like anticipation. I'm like, okay, 6 more months then. When they do that, because I'm like, why is in that suit still? Damn, y'all still don't mocap.
It better not be 6 more months.
It's so weird because like I feel like I give games a lot more grace than I do movies. I feel like I'm more patient with games than movies. And I don't know, like, yes, I want information about this. I want the trailer and everything, but I kind of just feel like it has to come out this year, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, it would have to be something disastrous for it to not come out. So to me, it's like, just a trailer is fine. You don't even have to give me like an announcement with the trailer, just a trailer. So like, we get a better feel on the story, where kind of you're heading with it. But just something. I mean, like at this point, I kind of feel like you're just riding too high off of how much we love the last 2 Spider-Man games, and we're just willing to wait forever.
I think the problem is because how fast Miles Morales came out too. After
that wasn't a full game.
But yeah, it wasn't. But there was a lot of content still.
Yeah, it was way more than a DLC.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't a DLC. It
was like an extended DLC. Is what it was.
But no, to Jawan's point, I am extremely the opposite. I give much more grace to movies. With games, when you announce it, you better have a demo ready. Give me something. Like, I give games 0 leash. Don't announce stuff if you don't have the demo ready, or at least the beta. People do betas and alphas now. Give me something, or stop announcing until then.
Man, I don't know, man. Games get announced all the time with just like word
And
of
I
mouth.
hate it every time.
Like
Word of mouth, not even a
Walmart.
picture.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I understand you, dudes, because like I don't like movies being announced and like, all right, bro, you don't have a director, you don't have nothing. Just wait till you got some shit before like you want to announce it.
See,
But I
with
mean-
movies, I'm like, look, I get it. Movies take a lot.
Games, I feel like takes a lot more than movies.
I was hoping nobody was gonna bring that part up. It ain't new. But still, look,
this
you
is
can
bad.
give me something.
They're
I-
longer than movies.
Like,
Like,
I remember,
yeah.
I remember when Spider-Man came out, right? Like I feel like a year or two after Spider-Man came out, they were telling us how long it would be for them to make a second one. So by the time we got news of the second one, it was just like, oh well, thank goodness. Like it feels like it's been forever. And then you get the Miles game, and you're like, oh, you guys are gonna take even longer, aren't you? Like it was one of those feelings, as opposed to movies. You kind of have the idea of like, all right, when they announce it, they're like, hey, it's coming out in 2025. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. So next year you'll spend filming, and then it comes out the following year. Games kind of feels like look at obviously it's not a good example, but look at that Suicide Squad game.
Mhm.
It lets you know how quickly things can change. That doesn't usually happen with movies, right? Where
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
all right, it's not coming out now. All right, it's not coming out now. All right, it's not coming out now. Like that just does not happen. You put way too much into marketing and everything for it. That thing should be coming out that year. It might move the months, but that year for sure. Games just fluctuate. So
Yeah.
to me, that's where I kind of
Games
lose my
get delayed
patience.
way too often.
Yeah.
Gotta
You
stop
said
them.
what?
The games get delayed way too often. They gotta stop
That
them.
they
Right.
do.
I
years
mean,
ahead.
Right.
I feel like it, and just to I guess kind of take any possible heat away from what Trayvon is saying, we're not saying that people should crunch to try and get games out. We're saying
no.
you should
Oh,
set
yeah,
a
no.
realistic
No,
date.
that is true.
Set a
Well,
realistic
to be fair,
date, or don't set a date until you're like 70-80% done, and when you're confident that you will be able to make it. Like don't just be expecting people to give you money and then you'd be like, oh yeah, we're not going to do it this year, maybe next year though. Like that can be kind of trying for a lot of people.
Announce the date
be
when
fair.
when the first QA test went well. How about that?
But to
Or
be
start-
fair,
do
Jamie,
more alpha
we
tests.
have-
Do more alpha tests.
we do have an example of what you're saying, Jamie, and that's Pokemon. Pokemon just kind of is like, y'all gonna get a game every year, and it's like, will it be good? Maybe. Like they're churning it out too often.
Yeah,
And it's
same
like,
thing
bruh,
was
you
happening
can
with
take a little bit
Assassin's
of a
Creed in
break.
my opinion.
Well, they were doing
And not
it
too
a
much
lot.
on
Well,
the
they
and
were
Call of
doing it,
Duty,
yeah,
and
they
Call
were.
of Duty as well.
Not too much on Assassin's Creed. The
Oh,
last
good,
two were
yeah.
great.
Yeah, the Assassin's Creed has gotten better, and they're not as rapid. Like there's been
Yeah.
a break between the last one and now Mirage.
Where
Yeah.
the which one at? Come on. Where the which one at? Yeah, I announced
Valhalla and Odyssey were both great. Not too much on
I
Assassin's
agree.
Creed.
I completely agree. Odyssey was just oof. Yes.
See, there we go. That's myself right there. Because they announced that one, whatever the witchy one. Like,
Mhm.
where is that at? Am I get that
There's
shit?
Ninja one.
2028.
There's a lot of different ones.
Wait,
coming
yeah,
out.
I feel like that one's
Some
kind
of them game,
far off a little bit.
phone games or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, I feel-
the Jade is supposed to be a mobile
Hey,
game.
The Chinese one. Right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. To me, I just like that they're trying to build forward towards something. But yeah, don't just churn out games just to churn out games, because that's when people just go, well, I don't want it anymore. Don't do that. But
Yeah.
also don't take 6 to 10 years, Grand Theft Auto, to make another one.
I feel
You know,
so.
there's
Here's
a
the
middle
thing
ground.
for me, because the process of making a game is very different than like a movie or TV show, and the fact that there's a lot of moving factors and things can pretty much everything can change just depending on Top Dog says, you know what, scrap this, like I don't want this, let's do something else. So for me, the real worry was Spider-Man not really communicating, or excuse me, Insomniac not really communicating with us as far as like, here's a trailer of some story or some gameplay or things like that. It's just like the radio silence is worrying, because like usually when games go radio silent, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And like management could have changed, like maybe the game itself could have changed, or things just aren't going well and they don't want to let people know that, or like just not putting any like marketing behind it and trying to communicate with people to get them excited. It just makes me a little bit worried, even though like they haven't given us a reason per se. But if you have faith in something, you're going to try and promote it and get as many eyes on it as you can. And it's kind of unfortunate because they can't really take the route of just like dropping it the same day that they announce it, just because, well, for one thing, they've already announced it. And this is a sequel, so we already have a lot of expectations for this, especially for people that have enjoyed it. So they can't really go the route of like, oh, we'll just drop it today and everybody will be like, yay, that's cool. So
couldn't the argument be in their favor of that game is such a massive IP that you don't really need to market it much? It's Spider-Man. Like, it essentially sells for itself.
I mean,
so I kind of believe Spider-Man, you could look at Spider-Man like Beyonce. Beyonce could drop tomorrow and have no promotion and the world will eat it up. Spider-Man, I'm not saying they should, but it essentially could do that because it's Spider-Man, right? And like you said, it's not like they've done anything to kind of produce doubt as far as gameplay or anything like that with the first two games. So I kind of feel like there is no ticking time clock for Insomniac and Spider-Man, because we'll be there to buy it whenever it drops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like because of the IP being so massive, you do kind of have the freedom to kind of just do what you want. Because A, the world loves Spider-Man, and B, your credit is great with your consumers when it comes to this Spider-Man IP as far as gaming.
They saw, and they saw how everybody acted to that little clip that was in that random video of, it was like, oh, look, Spider-Man swinging. You just saw like Miles for half a second. And that was like talked about by everybody. So they know we want it. It's just like, okay, come on, guys.
Right. And then not to mention just hearing the voice of knowing that was going to be Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
There's a lot working for it to where it could take its time. It's just we don't want them to.
Right, yeah. Like I do and I don't want them to take their time. Like I do want them to take their time, but also I'm very impatient. I'm like, I would like to play the game now, please. But the thing for me, you're definitely right in the fact that they do have a lot of credit with their fans and a lot of faith being put to Insomniac as far as just like creating a good game. But with this game in particular, at least to me, they are trying to do something different. They are having both the Spider-Man present. So we don't really know what that gameplay balance is going to be like, whether it's you can switch between Miles and Peter, which I kind of doubt, or it's going to be like, this is a Peter section of the game, and then this is a Miles section of the game, and then maybe at the end you can kind of do like maybe a cinematic battle where you're switching off. So that's something I would be interested in learning a little bit more about. But, if they decide for some very odd reason just to not market this game at all until like it drops, and then we see like what the game is all about once it releases, like, I'm still going to play it because I enjoy my time with Miles. But I would definitely have some concerns, I guess, just based on the way things work in the industry now. It's not bad to try and change things up, but especially for them, creating this AAA game and being like corporate, that would be very non-corporate of them to do. So I don't know. It would just create a little bit of concern for me personally. But I agree with you. There's definitely a lot of faith there, and I don't think they're going to make a bad game. I just want to know what the game is.
I agree with you there. I completely agree with that. I just want to see it.
Yep, I just want to see it. That's it. Just a little.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was at the showcase that they're gonna do.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
It probably will be. The actors would just stop talking about it, because I assume their marketing team is building up how they want to go about it.
Honestly, the actors are the marketing team.
Pushes it back.
Right.
Well, I mean, think about it. Their true marketing is just giving you a trailer, right? But it's like, if I'm putting together how I want to drop it, and then you keep talking about when it's going to drop.
Oh, yeah, that part.
Back. When we're actually going to release things, if you keep telling people, hey, we're going to release it here, what if I wasn't ready to release it then? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just don't say anything else. Let us
don't create those expectations.
Then we'll drop it. Yeah. Right. Because if you say September, and then we're we're not ready till November. It's now the fan base is like, oh my God, is something wrong? And it's like, no, nothing's wrong. September is just when we were telling the actors, hey, this might be when we could finish by or when we want to drop it. We didn't expect you guys to go out there and actually say it. Like that's supposed to be in-house. Don't tell them.
See,
this is in-house.
The interesting thing about all of this, though, is the fact that people are talking about the release date for Starfield and how that was pushed. And some people are theorizing that they pushed it to September because a lot of people believe that Spider-Man is going to be coming out in September. So they want to try and compete with PlayStation. I don't really think that's going to go over that well for them. But they want to try and compete with PlayStation and make the consumers have to make a choice, So
it's an easy one, just to let them know out there.
Yeah.
It's an easy choice.
One, we're gonna buy the game. The other game is gonna be on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass, go for it. If you don't, good luck. I don't know what they expect. I just don't. Nobody's buying Starfield or whatever it's called.
Don't put me in a position to embarrass you. Is what I would like to tell them. Don't do that. Don't make me have to tell you.
Care anymore about that game? To be honest,
I never cared.
A lot of people, it got pushed too much. A lot of people are really getting turned off to that game.
Yeah. I was never that big on it to begin with. So every time I get an update, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Starfield, it's doing something else. That's fun.
Oh, okay, that's the whole thing. All right.
Yeah, that's why I'm no, Jedi Survivor looks great. Jedi Survivor is honestly, it's kind of gone up in my rankings. As far as
Bill about it, Trayvon, hold up.
Wait,
I can explore planets with Jedi Survivor.
Okay. Oh. Did you scare me? Because I was like, wait, did he say that?
No, I bad.
You see how quick Didge was ready to attack you?
I was getting ready to attack.
I was ready for him.
He said, "Bring it."
I know what I say.
I had to mute you.
Oh yeah, but on to some gaming news, so things that have actually been confirmed, starting with the state of play that happened hours ago when we were recording this, where it's pretty much just all things Final Fantasy 16. To me personally, I don't really feel like they needed to show any more of this game. I was already convinced. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna play this. So this looks cool. And the state of play, yeah, it was definitely more of that. They kind of gave us a clue into the world and kind of the exploration of it, and some different characters that you'll get to meet and possibly form relationships with, and side questing. And also just a little bit more into the combat, which for me, I'm really hoping that they have some different UI options, because as the game stands right now, it just looks kind of cluttered to me. I'm like, what is happening right now? So I hope that there's some kind of options where you can turn off the damage numbers, and maybe play around with the particle effects too, because I don't know, I like a little bit of sprinkles, but I feel like they're just dumping the whole thing on there, and I'm like, that's too many sprinkles for me personally. But it's definitely showing off the power of the PS5, I will say that. But for me personally, the clarity of the gameplay is it could use a little bit of improvement, but I honestly have not really heard anybody else say that, so maybe I'm alone in that idea. But yeah, it was a whole lot of interesting stuff. They did have a lot of different options as far as changing the difficulty if you wanted to take difficulty away and have a more story focused session of gameplay, or if you wanted to try and challenge yourself with more action focused. So I thought that was really cool, adding that a little bit of an accessibility feature. And also I think you can also change some of your buddies as far as how much they help you versus maybe telling them to step back a little bit. So I think that's cool, and it's something that was highlighted when a lot of creators got to go to Japan to talk with the producers about the game. So yeah, this is looking the producers hope that it is the most accessible Final Fantasy game in, I guess, just ever. But I don't know if any of you guys saw the state of play, but if you did, what did you guys think about this game? I know you, Joel, you raised your hand when you said you were interested in playing it. So did you happen to see the state of play today? Or just, honestly, any gameplay in general, and what are your thoughts?
I've seen them all, because it looks fantastic.
This game looks phenomenal.
It looks
Yes. Yeah.
fantastic. Even from like the first trailer when that dropped and how shockingly good it looked then. Because it basically looked like a Game of Thrones version of Final Fantasy. I was like, that's all I needed to see. I'm good. I don't need to see anything else. Just drop it tomorrow. I'll be good. But then they kept showing me shit. I was like, all right, well, I'm in. I have nothing really negative to say about it. The only concern I have, it's not really a concern. It's just a nitpick I have because I've playing all the old Final Fantasies, at least the ones that are not MMO. I'm so used to a party. And like having a party with me, like having character, not just assisting me, but getting to play with everyone. It's weird just focusing on one character for me, as a Final Fantasy fan. Not as a these are the type of games I like. I like action adventure, even if they are action adventure RPGs. This is my shit. Like I'm 100 fine like playing the whole game with Clive. But as a Final Fantasy game, that's the only element that to me is actually missing is the party. I know he's gonna have friends and they're gonna assist you, but it's not the same as it was. And like you kind of saw a little bit of that in Final Fantasy VII remake. They're kind of similar, but even though you can switch off, which I appreciate it, you can't switch off here. It seems like you're just gonna be Clive the whole time. But I'm 100% fine, and it looks just like a Devil May Cry meets Final Fantasy, with at least the action elements of it. And I love Devil May Cry, so. Again, I don't. They just keep giving me reasons to, and like the giant kaiju battles, you're gonna actually get to play as an icon or a summon. That's insane. I need to play it soon because I can't wait. And then the fact that it comes out, I think it was in June.
Yeah, in June.
Diablo comes out in June too. It's gonna be. I can't. Everything needs to just slow down. I just can't get.
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I know. Like spread these things out. Spread these things out.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. The kaiju battles look really, really fun and interesting. And one of the things they talked about in the state of play that happened today was the fact that they are doing like a whole bunch of different like game modes that range from like the shooting gallery type game modes where you're just like shooting at a target and kind of moving around to like what we saw in the gameplay trailer where it's like a kaiju battle. Like I won't say it's like a fighting game per se with like the technicality, but as far as just like getting in there with your hands and just like beating the crap out of the other dude, like they have battles like that as well. So that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. But I know, you also sounded pretty excited for the game. Did you see the state of play today?
I ended up going back and watching it, and I almost pre-ordered it right then. I was on the PlayStation page, like, should I do this? And I will be buying it day one, but
hell yeah.
I didn't need to pre-order it right then. But this game looks phenomenal. I can't wait for it to come out. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
I suggest everybody gets it. Juwan, Trayvon, you guys should definitely get it if you guys weren't going to. It looks phenomenal.
I've never played a Final Fantasy game fully. I was watching the thing as you guys were talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's for me. It's giving me a mix of God of War and Hogwarts Legacy to me.
I was gonna say that like there's a lot of magic in the game, so
all of them. Very magical based series.
So it's interesting. It's piquing my interest. I'm not gonna lie. It's more than the Mortals of Avon or whatever you call it did today. Anyway, but yeah,
Jesus.
But yeah, it looks cool. I don't know. It's a lot of games. A lot of.
It is. It's a lot of
$70 out here. Like
that's true, and they're not cheap games.
No, they are not. But I'm glad that you checked it out today, and have something else to keep your eye on because this game is definitely gonna be, or at least I assume that it will be up for Game of the Year at the end of the year. Like that's just I would put that on my bracket for making it down there. But Jawan, did you happen to see the state of play today or any footage from Final Fantasy 16?
I did not, but I do know that Final Fantasy has never really been my cup of tea. But it does garnish a lot of excitement to watch you when you stream it, and when you guys talk about it. But it's not my cup of tea. But I will say, I mean, I might watch the hell out of the cutscenes. that is one thing I will definitively say is I sounds like I'm gonna watch the hell out of these cutscenes when it drops. But yeah, I there's just too many games coming out, and I think I chose the one game that's not really in my comfort zone that I'm gonna try, and that's Diablo.
Okay.
So that's gonna be my game this year, stepping out of my comfort zone that I'm gonna try. And like we said before, these games are not cheap. So
Step out of your comfort zone with Elden Ring.
no. After I heard Trayvon, no, there's no way. And my system is
coming soon.
My system is download only, so I couldn't even return that shit if I wanted to. So nothing, not happening, nothing.
All right then. I'm sad, a little bit sad to hear that not that big of a Final Fantasy fan, but I cannot fault you for still trying to reach out of your gaming comfort zone and try something new. So hopefully, Joel, you gotta put your work in, push them to Final Fantasy.
On it.
It does look really cool, Jamal. You should watch it. The trailer does.
Yeah, check it out.
Oh no, I'll watch the trailer as soon as we get off. Yeah, again, I want to say
different what I'm used to.
It's not like I don't, it's not like a dislike thing.
No, yeah, I understand.
It's kind of like how Joel was just saying how he feels about Grand Theft Auto. That is just not his thing. Like I don't have anything against it. Like I said, if Diablo wasn't coming out, I would make Final Fantasy my game this year. To step out of that. But again, it's just so much. My dad's a big Diablo fan. So there's just so much about Diablo that it's like, all right, well, let me freaking try this thing. So again, if Final Fantasy wants to be $40, sure. But if it's gonna be 75 like the rest of these,
it's 70.
So you might try it in like a couple years, maybe 3 years.
Right. I mean, again, that's my only issue now. That's my only issue now is that as these games get more expensive, it's like no one has the money to like spend on a game they're not 100% excited for.
True.
Because then if you don't like it, it's like, well, that's $75 I won't get back.
Right.
Because GameStop will tell you like, oh, I'll give you 15 cents like for this.
Yeah. This brand new game. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, you got to be smarter on what games you're spending on nowadays. So again, that's just what it comes down to. But like I said, I do. It's not like I have anything against Final Fantasy at all.
Yeah. And to your point, that's kind of why I am so much of a Game Pass preacher and believer. Is like it saved me a lot of money and brought me a lot of different games that I can make content for, and I don't have to pay the extra expense outside of just the subscription. So I definitely understand. There's not an unlimited supply of money, so you have to pick and choose. I know
there's some sacrifices to be made.
Yep, there are some sacrifices. Like, my sacrifice for this year, at least so far, was Hogwarts Legacy, because I was like, I don't know a whole lot about Harry Potter. So I have to educate myself first before even considering purchasing Hogwarts Legacy. So yeah, that one I traded that off. Sometimes you got to make trade-offs, so that's understandable. But speaking,
teach you everything you need to know.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Speaking of trade-offs, we looks like we're officially trading in E3 for Summer Games Fest. If you weren't aware, E3 2023 has been canceled, and it seems like there's very little hope for E3 to return next year or ever. I don't know. They haven't officially canceled the event, but there's not a whole lot of hope. Publishers were dropping out left and right. I believe it started with, I think Microsoft was one of the first big publishers to officially back out. Or sorry, not Microsoft. Nintendo was the first one. Which they was surprised because they usually, even though they don't have a showcase at E3 anymore, they'll at least still have a booth at E3. And they were the first big one to drop.
Sony and Microsoft, I heard both of them on the same day.
Yeah. And then Sony and Microsoft, they came later, and then Ubisoft, and it just all kind of fell apart very suddenly. And it's kind of sad, at least for me, to see E3 go, just because of like all the excitement that it's brought me over the years. And I feel like even though Jeff Keighley is doing his best with Summer Game Fest, it doesn't bring the gaming community together like I feel like E3s of the past have. Um, so the hope for this is the fact that Reed Pop signed a multi-year contract, so it wasn't just limited to this year. So they might possibly be trying to do something with E3 again next year, or the ESA, I should say, which are the like the heads of E3. Uh, it, I've heard that like maybe they might try and do a different kind of event next year, which I don't even know what that means. We'll have to see. But there's definitely, E3 has the potential to thrive. Like, PAX East and PAX West still happen every year. And those are in person, like gaming expos, pretty much. So it's possible. They just have to adapt with the times. But yeah, that was a big one that happened a couple weeks ago as of recording. So I don't know. I know we talked about this on the GVN channel, which by the way, check out GVN if you haven't checked it out already. But were there any other thoughts about this before we move on to the next thing?
I mean, you're right. Seeing E3 kind of go through what it's going through is crazy. But I think if you're E3, the best thing you could hope for is that you can kind of utilize a relationship with these companies the same way San Diego Comic-Con has. Because think about it. If you're Disney, you essentially could say, I will never go back to San Diego Comic-Con, right? There's just no need. I just did Star Wars Celebration. I'll probably do something towards the end of the year when we do our yearly investment meetings and stuff and we drop stuff. I just have no need to ever be there, right? Besides, obviously, the fans, right? So it's like Disney does their own thing. They have no reason to ever go back to San Diego Comic-Con, but they still choose to, right? Mm-hmm. So what you got to do then is build a relationship with somebody like Nintendo where you go, okay, all right, Nintendo's dropping, a new Breath of the Wild, a new this, a new that. Let me see if they can maybe just come here and do an exclusive about Mario, right? This is where they come to announce the new Mario game, right? So it's something. You got to kind of build that up to where it's like, either find a company that needs you as much as you need them, or somebody that's willing to just throw you a bone of an exclusive. Because I mean, I don't know what San Diego Comic-Con would be if Feige did not show up there every year. I can only imagine, right?
But
I can only imagine.
E3 had that. No, I was gonna say, to be fair, E3 had a relationship and lost it. I don't know what they did, but they had that, and then all of a sudden, the past couple of years, more and more companies are like, well, I don't need you. Right. And whatever this relationship was, it didn't mean much to me. And it seemed like the final nail in the coffin was this year because everybody basically
failed.
I really don't need you. I don't need that relationship.
Events.
Right, yeah.
Everybody was like, well, I can do it myself.
Yeah. I think the pandemic, it does definitely play a part in it, and the fact that, like, everybody couldn't get together anyway. And so it pushed a lot of publishers to try and figure out their own ways for making showcases and stuff. So then when it came time for people to like try and make plans to gather again, looking at the price tags for the E3 booths, like I was listening to a podcast where Alana Pierce was talking about like her time with IGN and IGN having a booth that was purely just for media, pretty much like a lounge for them to like sit down and rest and not have to be around the crowds. And that was $300,000. That was $300,000.
And that's why, right there.
Just to have that little area.
There's a relationship.
Right.
There's a relationship in there. Never mind.
So they definitely, as much as people want to support E3, they also need to get real as far as like the price of these booths, especially for developers that want to take part in E3 but do not have the money to like get a booth or maybe even a chair just in a corner of E3, especially with a lot of these independent developers that are pretty much carrying the whole thing on their back and having to do marketing as well. So, yeah. It's
the price of that booth is gonna be hard for them to come up off of, because to me, once you do that, that's you admitting that your time is come and gone, right, is when you can't charge the way that you're used to charging. Is when you got to start relenting.
But at some point, you kind of have to.
Yeah,
Right,
I
and
mean,
kinda
it's
feel like
either
we're
that or
at this
the
point
event's
where
canceled. So like pretty much all the revenue you were gonna get is gone, you know?
right, I kind of feel like maybe they think they're not there yet, right? Obviously, they're gonna see that they're getting close, right?
They're
But
there.
I mean,
Yeah, no, they're there. Like people
have
are
they
literally
There's no
like
event this year.
right
They're there.
etching out the tombstone right
There's no
now.
event this
I've
year.
known that 2
Their
years
prices-
ago.
no
Yeah.
event this year, right? Gotcha.
As soon as
So
they
their
saw that
prices is
everybody
zero.
making their own events, they should be like, okay, they can make their own now. They might not come back to us. Maybe we
Right.
should make our prices better to entice them to come back.
That's why
because-
I'm like, I
Yeah.
feel like either go for one thing, I feel like they need somebody like Jeff Keighley, which I don't really know who else that'd be in the game industry. Maybe Greg Miller. I don't know. He's also a widely known personality. They need somebody like him to bring that enthusiasm back to the event. But also, you know, maybe just steal from Jeff Keighley entirely and make it, you know, have a in-person aspect that's like a little bit smaller. But for the most part, you can at least partner with these companies and say, like, you know, this live stream, PlayStation's live stream is also a part of E3. Or have something like that. If like they are no longer convinced that they need to be there physically, or at least like have a physical presentation, you could still give them the opportunity to say, hey, we have this space. We know you guys are going to be releasing Final Fantasy soon. Well, you can put a booth here and have a demo so people can get excited and you can get extra coverage on it for like X amount of money. That's reasonable. Like, I don't know. There's definitely a way that they can go about it that I just don't feel like, I don't know if it's pride or I don't know if it's like being stuck in like the old way things used to work, but
It's definitely probably pride. I mean, we saw this with Fox, right? We saw Fox fought until we were just telling them, hey, we're not going to keep supporting these movies. Sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you, dog. Like, we have no interest in these. And then it was just like, well,
Speak for yourself.
all right. It's time to say. I mean, that's what happened, Trayvon. Like, they understood
Not
that
for
they were
me.
losing it. I get you, but you, out of the billions of other people they needed to show up to these movies, the numbers weren't adding up. They realized their time had come and gone. It was time, right? So I'm like, if you're E3, you either have to realize it's time or find a way to survive. Like, that's really what it's gonna come to. And
Reality check.
right, and it's gonna be interesting to see how they respond to that. Because again, a lot of these award shows or these, you know, conventions and stuff, you're not needed. The way social media works today, you're just not needed. So it's like you're gonna have to do something that keeps you alive. And it's gonna be interesting to see what they have to do. Do they bow down and say, shit, it's over? Or do they do like you're saying, Jamie, make things cheaper, you know, try to do more exclusives? Or you were saying that they ruined it, get back in bed with these people to get these exclusives back? It's going to be interesting to see what they do. I just know a lot of these companies, they don't realize they're dead until we're placing a flower. right on their tombstone. And they
But
go,
this year,
oh, we're done.
this year has to be the flower. There's no way they can go out of this year and say, "Oh, we still got it." You had to cancel your
They
event.
threw in the towel. They said we can't. There's no one's coming. Why are we
Like,
even gonna have it?
I get what you're saying, Jawan, but it's like they have to be in that. They have to be in their boardroom thinking long and hard right now because they have no event.
Mhm.
Right.
They're in
was
there, I mean,
key.
they gotta be in there, but like they don't need us for marketing anymore. They don't
That's
need
it.
us. So
No.
you know,
Yeah.
that's it.
I feel like either, you know, maybe go back to a business to business expo where, you know, it's not open to the public and maybe even open up to the media a little bit, or get in a meeting with Jeff Keighley, be like, hey, look, we have some resources. We would like to still exist in some capacity. Use us, please. Use us. Do something with us so that we don't
We
die.
Should they just become more content creator friendly?
I mean, I feel like they already were. I think the big issue is really like, I don't know. There's just so many other showcases that are better. Like the last E3 that they had over the pandemic, like the show if it wasn't like a trailer or a developer talking about some gameplay, like it was kind of cringeworthy, which I kind of hate saying because like I feel like I'm personally a little bit cringe, and I like cringe, but sometimes there's too much cringe, and it's just like, bro, I like stop, please. And that it just went too far in my opinion. But what were you saying, Trayvon?
I mean, I don't know. E3 has lost everything that made it appealing at this point. People were going to play new games, play the demos of the new games.
Right.
Now those new games are not there anymore.
Right.
Like it's just not needed anymore. These people don't need you for marketing. People aren't coming for demos. That's it. You gotta do something else. Join another team, break up something. The way you had it before isn't gonna work anymore. So that's, I mean,
And to your point, Jawan, of can you try to appeal to creators? I don't know if that's going to work, and because you have a PAX East, a PAX West, you have all of these VidCons, there's so many stuff that already cater to creators that have been doing it. So it's not like you're having to capture a new audience. You have to still a captured audience, and that's infinitely harder. So it's possible, but they have to do a lot of soul searching. They have to think of some very creative ways to get more people if they're going to try to revive this brand.
Yeah, you I feel like you hit the nail right on the head. It's not the fact that they're chasing new people, it's that they can't even convince their existing audience to try and show up in some way or fashion. So they need to gain that faith back before worrying about trying to get other people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But while we're talking about gaming events, Nintendo Live is going to be happening this year in September. And I can't remember if it said it's the first time it's come to North America or if it's been a long time since it's been to North America. But basically, it's Nintendo E3. And it's going to be happening in September. So,
is it in Seattle?
Yes, it's in Seattle. There's going to be, I believe, some gameplay demos to try out. There's probably going to be a Nintendo Direct, pull out the whole Keek and Caboodle. So, I've never had any kind of experience virtual or in person with Nintendo Live, so I'm kind of looking forward to this and seeing what it's all about. But yeah.
I know. Oh yeah, them people E3 real sick.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's tough. That's why I'm like, Jeff Keighley was kind of smart with the idea of like, he has his own show where developers can come to him, especially a lot of independent developers, and say like, hey, I have this game to showcase, and he can showcase it there. And he can also say that he's partnered with PlayStation, with Microsoft, with Nintendo. So when they have those showcases, he can also co-stream them the same as any other creator and say like, this is also a part of our summer of gaming, where it's more, or at least he's trying to make it feel more about the community than it is kind of like a monetary thing or like for corporate people. So yeah. But yeah, on to the next thing I have on the list. It's kind of tough for me to talk about this topic. We're going into Tears of the Kingdom stuff because I feel like I could talk about it at length forever, basically. But I'll let you guys do most of the talking here. I just wanted to start us off though. Eiji Aonuma, who is the producer for Tears of the Kingdom, and it was also featured in the gameplay that was shown like 2-3 weeks ago. He was interviewed at Famitsu during the Famitsu Awards, and Redditor translated what he said. So shout out to Pristine Wing 6464. And he was talking about Tears of the Kingdom and said, in the previous title, Breath of the Wild, players experienced a new Zelda world where they're free to go anywhere and do anything they want. And in the sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, we have packed in even more gameplay where players' freedom of imagination will change the game world. I'm sure that all of you voted for this game. I'm sure that all of you who voted for this game will be very happy with the results. I'm sure that everyone who voted for this game will find it a fresh surprise, and I hope that you will enjoy the quote unknown Hyrule as much as you want to. So he said this, then the gameplay, 10-minute gameplay video dropped, and then now the trailer, the final trailer, dropped today as of recording, and I'm like, you know what? I'm fully on board. I'm excited. I'm ready. But with all the things that you guys have seen of the Tears of the Kingdom, what do you think, Joel, of everything that you've seen so far?
Oh man, everything looks great. I'm very excited because there's a lot to overtake over what we had last time with Breath of the Wild. That was very hard to, because that game was incredible. It's very expansive. It was a large world. You could do so many different things, and it had a great story. Honestly, there was just so much to that game. It's hard to say like you could do better than that. But then this crazy fucking game comes out, and all the trailer has shown me is that you're being limited by your own imagination at some points, because some of the stuff you can do is literally, you can fuse things. It's like before it was crazy with the little cube, but now it's even crazy. That arm thing you can do almost anything, and there's a Skyland, and I guess there's parts of Hyrule now that we didn't get to see before, because I saw some stuff there that I didn't recognize. So I'm like, all right, cool. I mean, like, I'm super excited to get going. I like, what else is there to explore? Just exploring the new parts of Hyrule, and and getting into this story, and of course the reveal of Ganon coming back, Ganondorf. I'm very excited for all of this. As a big fan of Legend of Zelda, it's just, at this point I just want to get to it, because it has a great feel. Like playing the last game had a great. There were like the music and the feel of the game had there's something to that. So like I kind of feel like this will have similar elements to that, and it's just, I'm just excited overall.
Yep, I'm definitely with you. Are you convinced to buy a Switch yet? Will you be getting there?
I'm very close. I need a new one, because what if it just doesn't play well? Like,
That's fair.
Trayvon has done a lot of worrying about that his Switch is gonna blow up playing this game, and it's starting to convince me.
Amen.
So
I'll go out happy.
You gotta blame Trayvon. But it looks phenomenal. It does. I'll give you that, and I do want to play it, and we'll see how much traveling I do this summer. If I do a lot more traveling, then I might have to get a Switch.
All right. So I gotta start putting stuff on your list for you to go to. All right, I hear that. Trayvon, what do you think about everything you've seen so far?
I mean, I think the game looks fantastic. I know everybody's been waiting for the sequel to Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U, right? Didn't it come out?
Yeah, it came out on the Wii U, and it's also a launch title for the Switch.
Yeah, which is very funny to me, the thought of that. But and everybody's been waiting for it, and I'm just like, okay. And I don't know. I'm curious to how well it plays. It looks great from what they show us. Of course that's gonna look great.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and then what will happen when you actually get the thing? Everybody has it, and see how it goes. That scares me. I'm like, what just happened with Pokemon? I was like, you guys realize you really tarnished. You're like, can this thing play games anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Like newer games anyway. And
this is what he says so much that it's like, I don't want my system to blow up on me.
I don't think it'll do that. I mean, I just hope I don't know. I just hope it's optimized better than the Pokemon game was, because
I'm scared myself.
And to your point, yeah, that was a whole. Well, to the point of the Pokemon game, Game Freak is notorious for not optimizing their games very well. So I wouldn't hold them to such a high standard, even though it should have came out like, correct, but they didn't. With Zelda, looking at the gameplay that they showed off a couple weeks ago, of course, like, we didn't have things that were as busy as we saw in this trailer today. But it looked like it ran like just as well as Breath of the Wild, in my opinion. So we'll see when it comes to like more of graphically intensive parts, like the different laser beams and stuff that we saw in the trailer today. When if there's going to be some kind of performance drop or whatever it is. But like not a thought crossed my mind as far as will my Switch blow up. I'm not gonna lie. I feel it's definitely me looking at this game with rose tinted glasses, though. I'm not gonna lie, but the thought never occurred to me. It never occurred to me. So I'm just gonna pray that things work out. I'm just gonna pray that things work out
For the game's sake.
Yeah. But Jawan, well, you have any thoughts about Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, first, I wanted to say I would definitely not compare Pokemon, mainly because, again, when you drop as many times as they do, you often leave things out. And it seems like they've just been getting worse and worse. But no, I mean, I am excited for this. I did not. Did I finish? No, I don't think I finished the first one. So it gives me time to go back and finish the first one before this comes out. Which I actually like because I've not played any of the other games, so like my fandom for this isn't that high. So it's like to play this before playing the other one kind of gets me like super pumped for it. But yeah, I mean, to me, there was nothing that needed. I didn't need any more things to get me excited. I just shop the game, man. Come on, just give it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Enough playing.
Breath of the Wild was your first Legend of Zelda game?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I mean, okay.
Well, what you trying to say, dude? It wasn't the
I've said
first
this
Zelda
before.
game that I've seen the story of, but it was the first Zelda game I personally played.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
old.
Wait, old. Why?
I had the
Old?
original Legend. I had the golden disc version.
I had that one.
Yeah.
Why
Ocarina
do
of
you feel
Time.
But why do you
Because-
feel
That's
old?
just old.
How is it? Ocarina of Time came out for the 64.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a great game. So, Ocarina of Time. Was so good.
How have you guys not played that?
But
It
that's
was-
what
it
I'm
was
saying. Why do you feel
phenomenal.
old? Like I was
This-
alive during Nintendo 64. Like
Because you didn't play it, so
It's-
it's just
Well,
it
that
makes you
shouldn't
it
make
makes
you
you
feel
seem
old.
12.
I
It
did
makes you seem like
play.
you're 12 now.
I played Sonic, and that damn sure came out before Sonic, Mario. That came out before.
Well, now I'm just touched it with you then, because you just didn't play great games.
I've played
I mean,
every
I'm gonna be
Zelda
honest with
game.
you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was just gonna say I played every Zelda game since Breath of the Wild has come out. I played Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. I played the
Try that.
remake of Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening is awesome. Man.
It was really great. I want them to I really, really want them to come out with a port of Wind Waker. You don't even have to remake it. Just port it. Just give it to me. I'll play. I will buy it. They haven't done it yet, but yeah, I'm definitely I'm behind on my Zelda. I will say it. Oh, were you gonna say
Just-
something, Joanne?
No, I was just gonna say I tell you guys this all the time. Where growing up, the things that you guys believe are like things I should have watched or played were just some things no one ever talked about near me. Like it was just things I never heard
They
of.
did you a
That's
disservice.
fair.
So I'm like I've never heard of this. Like, oh my god, you've never played Legend of Zelda? Like probably till I moved back here to New Jersey around middle school. And
They
just
did
like, you
you a
never played that?
disservice.
I was just like, well, I never heard anyone tell me like, oh, you've never seen that or played that. So for me, it's just like, well, I just never figured it was important, I guess. Till like I said, I moved back here, but by that time it was just like, I have an Xbox. I'd have to get other systems to play this shit. I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. So
I legit
Now I'm
stole
more
my
open
brother's
to it.
64 to play the Ocarina of Time.
I mean, I do want, and I do have a video game shop that sells them for cheap. It worries me a little bit, but anyway, I did want to go back and get a Nintendo 64. So to me, again, I'm not against playing it. I don't feel like it's right to lie about whether or not I have. So,
You don't have to lie. You don't have to lie.
you know. So if I get a
I'll
Nintendo
just feel
64.
disappointed.
I'll just
I'll
shame
definitely
you.
make sure that's one of the first games. But Nintendo
I've
64, my
I've
rotation
shamed
for
him
sure.
before over Legend of Zelda. It's not his first time.
No,
I'm glad.
I hear all these things from Joel, and again, my response is always the same. I've only heard that from Joel. So now I can say I've heard it from Dig and Joel, but no. If
You
you
could
ask
say,
my
and
dad
me
would tell
too.
you
Finish
he's
Breath
never
of the Wild.
mentioned that before. Oh yes, no, but I definitely will.
Yeah.
Before the new one comes out, definitely will.
I will
Oh, yeah.
say I
I'll
am with you. I never finished Breath of the Wild, but the only reason I didn't was because I didn't want the game to end and I didn't want to have to make a new save. That's the only reason I didn't. I literally
Oh,
I
wow.
have myself parked in Hyrule Castle in front of Ganon and I just never opened the door. So
Can I take that excuse? Can I say that same?
No.
I mean, did you get that
same-
far though? Did you put 100 hours into the game?
Yeah.
Listen to how much of a lie that sounds like.
Yeah.
I put.
I beat
hours into the game.
I beat Breath of the Wild with a drift on my control. That's all I'm saying.
Damn.
I feel like
That shit was
everybody
really
should be able to say
hard.
that. I don't think anyone's left Joy-Con works, right?
Well, I've got it fixed way since then, but that shit was hard because you gotta sit still on very small spaces.
Yes, I have
sometimes.
almost walked off a cliff a couple times when playing the game this past week just because of the drift. I'm like this game.
Oh,
mm-mm.
that is the worst, man.
I had
I've
to-
definitely done
that's
it.
Yep.
That is
happened.
one reason why I'm looking forward to a new Switch. It's just like, bro, that should not be something that was just like
I
a
mean,
system-wide, a worldwide issue, bruh.
but
What?
Yeah.
I'm paying full price and one of my operations don't work. That is insane.
I wouldn't expect things to
Insane.
be different with a new Switch though, unless they change the design of the Joy-Cons. If they don't do
Change
that,
the design,
then
then.
I was gonna let him have his hopes up.
Change
You're
the
a better
design.
person than me. I was gonna let him have his hopes up and just get him dashed. Cause there's no way that's
Damn,
changing.
that is. Could you picture though? You buy a new PS5 and like one of the analog sticks doesn't work. It's like, bro, this shit is too expensive for any operation to not be working, and then I got to send it back to you. Like, bro, that whole process is just like, oh
yeah.
goodness
Yeah,
gracious.
Nintendo
And I
does
only
need to
do
work on that.
handheld. I don't do dock. So I got Switch Lite, so I don't do dock.
Oh.
So it makes it even more frustrating.
See,
Like-
I got
like-
around it because I got the controller. Because I played some
That's
Breath of the Wild so
originally
much
what I had.
anyway. So yeah.
That's originally what I had, but then I was just like, no, I want to go Switch Lite because with my Xbox being on the TV, I just played my Xbox more. So I'm like, all right, the best way to play my Switch more is it's just handheld. It's only handheld. So I just utilized that, but now I'm just sitting here like, I don't think that was the right move. I think should have just stuck with the dock and just had the Pro controller, but whatever. I will finish the game. That is a promise. I will
Yep.
finish.
Finish the game. Finish the game. All right, I'm gonna move on from Tears of the Kingdom while we keep it brief. Don't wanna, there's so much of my channel that's already like videos about Tears of the Kingdom, so I feel like I got that covered. The next thing, which is news, but not a whole lot about it quite yet. There is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin game that's in the works. And the target for it is to be an action-adventure RPG that's inspired by God of War 2018. We don't know who's going to be developing it quite yet, but a lot of the internet and myself are very excited at the prospects of this game. Joel, I saw you did a little dance there. You're hyped for this.
Yes, I'm a very big Ninja Turtle fan. So, and I read the Ronin one. So I'm very excited to see what that looks like, because it is violent, but it's not. They're especially more recently they're not known for their like what God of War is known for, but to make a Ninja Turtle game on that level, because when I think God of War, you think of like a master class in gaming. You know what I mean? Like the graphics, like the action involved, like. That's next level, and to put that kind of effort and time into a Ninja Turtle game is very interesting. Considering it's like, okay, I mean, you're gonna actually care. I mean, the games that have come out, like the last one that came out, the beat 'em up that came for I got it on the Switch, but it's really fun, and that was a really great game.
Yes.
I forgot what it's called, Shredder or something.
Shredder's Revenge.
I had a lot of good time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
I
that
had a
game's
really
so
good
much
time with
fun.
that.
It's really
It
fun.
was the great fun team game you can play with friends and stuff. So that's cool. But like that, and that's what I'm used to from when I was a kid. But like something I would love something new, modern. I can say, oh, this is really cool, and like it's a story no one's really seen, like knows much about unless you read it. So to for like to tell that story in a gaming platform that you'll expose eyes to a story that no one's really knows. So like I'm very intrigued because for people to understand what the story behind it and like oh wow and it's definitely a more serious story so it's different because the last time they were really serious was like when they first came out and they were killing people and they all wore red headbands so and black and white so I look forward to seeing if they actually do it because like it sounds cool but will they do it we'll see.
You
Yeah.
said you said based on you said like God of War, so it'd be that
Yes.
type of wow.
God of War-esque
That's
type
what they're
game,
going for, at least. We don't know who's going to be developing it, or
right?
nobody's staffed for it, at least that we know of quite yet. But that's what they're going for.
Interesting. It's hard to. I'm trying to picture it. I can't right now. So it's yeah.
It's kind of weird. It is.
I would definitely I know Mr. E, shout out to Mr. E. He has recommended a couple videos to me about the Last Ronin comic. So I've seen a couple little
Last
like
one.
visual the words completely escaped my mind as soon as I said the first word. But basically just like visualizations of the comic book through YouTube. So I would definitely recommend checking those out because they definitely like paint a picture for you as far as like what this story is about. And I
I like
could
one of those. What is it? Motion comic things.
yeah, like a motion comic. I can
It's
definitely
an actual
see
comic too, if you want.
yeah, that's true as well. You could also just buy the actual comic book.
Actually, physically,
Yeah.
or digitally. Yeah.
Or digitally, yeah. But yeah, no, just based on like what I know so far, and it's very limited. I could definitely see them trying to do like a God of War style game with this, and I
Interesting.
personally would love it. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. Jawan, are you familiar with the Last Ronin comic? And if you are, or if you aren't, are you excited to see what this game would be about?
I am very familiar with it, and I honestly don't have any interest in that being a game. I'd much rather
Mm.
you take the Ninja Turtles that you've made popular, or the style of Ninja Turtles that you made popular. Give me an open world Ninja Turtles game. I'd really love that. Give me an open world game with the Ninja Turtles. I would think that that would be so much freaking fun. I'd much rather you put your eggs in that basket than doing the Last Ronin. I'd much rather the Last Ronin be in either an animated series or like an animated movie, like a one-off animated movie.
Mhm.
I'd much rather see it utilized in that vein. But for me, I kind of feel like the only thing Ninja Turtles has not done at this point is open world. And I'm like, there's just so many fun things you could do with that. So I'd be more interested in that.
Interesting take. I feel like, and I love open worlds. But I do feel like there is like starting to be, if not there already is, a bit of oversaturation with the number of games that are attempting to go open world / are open world. So I am not against the idea of doing something similar to God of War 2018, where it's more like an open hub or open hub world where you have like these different locations that aren't necessarily limitless, but you do get to still have that feeling of exploration and like newness with each world without having to build such a big map, I guess. I feel like when you say open world Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I immediately think like Spider-Man, like almost a game like that, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
To me, it'll never be an oversaturation until all the big IPs do it, and not enough big IPs. Of these characters are doing open world. Like AJ said it before, Star Wars not having an open world game yet is a massive injustice. So
Ubisoft's supposed to be creating one.
Right, they're supposed to be doing one. We'll see if it actually happens. I hope so. Because to me, too much of Star Wars is paced around open world. So it's like the fact that that wasn't one of the first concepts that you created is weird to me. So I get you that you don't want it to start being everybody's thinking they need an open world to like be successful in gaming. I completely understand, but for me, for these massive IPs that live in a world that's very much expansive,
Mm-hmm.
make them open world. And I'm not saying that Ninja Turtles is expansive, like you can go across the globe, but it is very much in the vein of Spider-Man just goes around New York City.
Right.
Ninja Turtles go around New York City. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and they use so many different vehicles and stuff like that that would be cool to utilize with them. Areas of travel throughout the sewers would be fun. I don't know. I just really believe there's a way to do it to where it could be a lot of fun. Um, and I'd like to see it explored.
No, yeah, I'm with you as far as Teenage Ninja Turtles would definitely be a good property to like make open world, or since they haven't done it already, that would be cool to explore. I'm just saying for like the general gaming market, I'm always down to see something different. Since a lot of games have like trended towards open world as of late, but as long as they're good, who cares? Who cares really? But do you have any do you have any history with the Last Ronin, or just like general excitement for a Last Ronin game?
Yeah, I actually really like that storyline. I'd be interested in the game. I'm honestly the complete opposite of John on this. I have no interest in an open world Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. I'd much rather it be something where you sort of do a linear story and you go through it that way. I think just because you can tell a lot more interesting stories that way. Open world games, while I do love them, sometimes tend to get lost in the exploration factor. Because there's so much to do, you sort of
Yeah.
you can sort of easily get away from what you're there for.
Right.
So a
It's
story like
overwhelming.
this one, yeah, it can get very overwhelming. So a story like this, it's something where I would be really interested in seeing just done where you can play through some of the different art, or I guess different plot points.
Well, just really quickly, I don't disagree with you, but that's why I said I wouldn't want a game about the Last Ronin for that main fact of I would like the idea of the exploration with the Ninja Turtles rather than one linear story you're telling me to box
No, I
myself in on. But
get
if
that.
you're
I get
making a
what you were
game
saying.
about just the Last Ronin, I don't disagree with you at all that in that respect you wouldn't want that to be open world. But that's what
Oh
I'm
no, I
saying.
get what you're saying.
Take
But I was
that
saying
story and
I
make that
also
into
just
something.
no, I get that. I'm saying I also just don't have an interest in an open world Ninja Turtles game in general.
Phooey.
You tried. You tried. No, but no, yeah, I'm definitely excited for like the prospects of this. Like, pretty much every Ninja Turtle game that has come out in like the past 2-3 years have been great. So hopefully this can kind
Yeah.
of keep the pattern going. Keep the trend going. But
Oh yeah.
something that has started not a great trend is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which has now been delayed, as many people were expecting, to February 2nd of 2024. And they didn't say like any specifics as to what they would be working on, or if they would consider like not having the always online aspect be a thing. But that's what a lot of people are hoping for, at the very least, is not having the game always be online. I won't ask if this is a surprise to anybody because I don't really feel like it is. But during this delay period, what would you guys like to see changed, if anything at all, about Suicide Squad that you've seen so far? And I'll start with you, Trayvon.
Um, I don't know. This game has become. I was like, oh, it's interesting a little bit, but then also my first thought was the game makes no sense. I've been saying this since they first announced the game, like against the Justice League. Like, and then we saw that gameplay where Flash was like he wasn't out of his mind. So I was like, so if he really wanted to, he could kill all y'all right now. Like it just didn't. I don't feel the I don't know. I don't feel how the game works to me. It just doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have no like. It doesn't like draw me to it. Definitely not for no $70.
Yeah.
If it's on Game Pass, maybe I'll be like, sure. But other than that, no, I'm not about to play my money that I could put on another game. Sorry for them. Good luck.
Well, I mean, for me, I liked where the game was at. For me, narratively, I don't know yet how they're able to stop the Justice League. I mean, I'd have to see how they do it first. I mean, they literally made a movie called Suicide Squad that made no sense for that same reason, but in a different aspect. So I'm like, they made a movie that made no sense with a Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad wasn't going because of Justice League in that movie. So
No,
That
but
was
you
the
had
purpose of the
people,
formation.
right? But you had people with guns and bats that were fighting a superpowered witch. That made absolutely no sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. So I'm like, and they made money off of that. And there's a core fan base
yes,
that
they
loves
made
that.
my money.
So I'm like,
Yes, me.
right. So I'm like, again, I only knew that because I saw the movie. I only knew how I felt about it because I saw it. So I'm like, for me, I don't know how they beat the Justice League. Yes, on the strength of the idea that the premise is these guys versus the Justice League. Should that be a concept? Maybe not. But I don't know how they go about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know they're not going to kill the Justice League or necessarily defeat them, but they might neutralize them. And that might be fun to see the different ways that these guys are able to neutralize them. So again, I like the concept because it's so crazy. It's one of those things that you ever hear like a movie where like it's so crazy it just might work. That's what this feels like. This feels like it's so crazy. It might just work. It might just work. So for me, I know there were a lot of different aspects of this game that people didn't like the last time they showcased it. So to me, them postponing it makes all the sense in the world. Gives them time to fix all the things that people were complaining about. But for me at this point, I just want to play it. Like, whatever you have, I just want to play it. Just give me a demo, something at this point. I just want to try it. I want to try it. See how I feel playing it. I never base anything off of watching someone else play it. Like, that's how you feel because you're playing it. I want to actually have it in my hands and see how I feel playing it. So for me, I am still very much excited for it. I can't wait for it to actually finally come out. It's just one of those things where I think we talked about this last time, Jamie. At some point, you're going to have to be a big boy enough and say, hey, this is the game we want to release, and we're releasing it this way. Because you continuously putting it off, you're only going to lose people. So at some point, you're just going to have to drop it.
Yeah. No, that's definitely fair. That's definitely fair. I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't think that they're going to make a bunch of fundamental changes. I feel like the changes that they'll make are just like little things, like possibly, I hope, at least in my opinion, like things that I think they should reconsider. The combat with like everybody needing to use a gun, there is a lot of people that are like, why isn't King Shark just biting people? Like, why isn't that a thing? And I think he does have a move where he bites people, but he definitely should be more of like a brute or a tank where he just like runs in, he does his Hulk smash or King Shark smash, he walks out. And I also think that having different, I don't know, I understand the need to give everybody a way to elevate themselves since they do have like multiple levels of elevation within their levels. But Harley Quinn swinging around like Spider-Man is just kind of odd to me. Like, I don't know why she's able to do that. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. But it just makes.
Is she using a grapple?
I think she is.
Yeah.
But even then,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
like.
that makes sense.
Even then, it's
No,
just.
it looks weird.
It looks kind of
It's-
strange to me.
I mean,
and like
I watched a
everybody.
game where I watch Robin teleport, so I'm like, once I
That
got
was
past that, it's just
strange,
nothing.
but
That
they
also looked
explained
weird,
it.
so-
They explained it.
That was
Like,
cool. Not very functional, but it was
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, I can't even believe you went to Robin and didn't even say the fact that Red Hood was just jumping and teleporting. Like, that was the weird
yeah,
one.
that was
Also,
That was
there's
the
a
weird
lot
one.
about that game that was a lot of
That was
fun,
much easier to do than teleport.
but it's like visually, it's like, wait, that's so weird. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Harley
Push
using
is
a
amazing.
grapple gun like web slingers. I'm like, I could wrap
But
my head
so
around
that's not the core of my issue though. The core of my issue is that a lot of these characters play very similarly. They all swing through the air in some shape or fashion, even if like one person's use a grapple hook, one person has a jetpack. Like they're all swinging through the air. They are all shooting guns that pretty much every character can probably use, which is also weird because you would think they would have their own personal arsenal, and like Harley would probably stick to hammers or something like that, what we've seen of her. Like I don't think her having a gun is out of the question, but her using everything that like Deadshot is using, or that like Captain Boomerang is using, like why aren't they more personal to that specific villain? And then I also like having the big floating, or not floating, but the big damage orbs that scream, shoot me right here. Like that doesn't seem that fun to me, honestly. Like just looking for a specific damage point to shoot at. It's the gameplay did not look the best to me. And like maybe I would feel differently if I actually got to play it myself, but from what I have seen, I was not particularly convinced at all. So those things, I don't think that they are like it's gonna change the story, or it's gonna fundamentally change like this person works this way, this person works that way. I feel like they can make the changes as far as maybe Harley sticks with these guns, Deadshot sticks with these guns, and Captain Boomerang sticks with these guns or weapons or whatever. Like I think like sectioning that off would probably not be the biggest deal. But it's just like it's very little things, not even touching the battle pass or the always online aspect, that kind of turned me off from the game. But what would you like to change, if there is anything that you would like to change about Suicide Squad Kill Justice League while we have some time?
I it's tough because I was very interested into this game until I saw the gameplay, because I thought almost none of it worked for me. I didn't like how a lot of people the Captain Boomerang, I didn't like how his gameplay was. He was like jumping around everywhere. I didn't like that. I didn't understand. It's almost seemed like King Shark was flying at one point. It just, nothing about it for me read right. And I know it fixed all of that in 8 months. So I'm kind of turned off to the game in general. I saw it get delayed and I was just like, okay, I hope it gets better for the people who are probably going to buy it. But I know I probably wasn't, and I don't see 8 months changing that. So I'm just sort of hoping for the best for the people who I know do want to play it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, 8 months, it's not a lot of time. I will
No.
admit it's not a lot of time, especially when it comes to game development and improving changes and all of that. So,
Right.
it's just wishful thinking, I guess. A discussion of wishful thinking.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys are playing it, I'll probably watch you guys play it, but I just, like we said earlier, games are expensive. I can't see myself paying
Right.
$70 for this.
Right. Yeah.
That's fair. That's
No.
fair. You'll definitely be watching me and Joel
Speaking of
Sure.
Joel, was there that sure didn't sound so sure. But is
No, I said for sure.
oh, for sure. Oh, it just sounded like sure to me.
play.
I definitely thought he was not as high on it as Joanne was.
No, I am. I'm
um
probably higher.
is there anything that you would like changed, or anything that kind of like rubbed you the wrong way, that like if they had all the time in the world, you would love for them to adjust?
My only issue with it was the idea of it. Just made it was weird. Like, shouldn't be able to take on the Justice League at all, in my opinion. Like, the concept is weird. Because to me, the Justice League, as a comic book fan, to me, the Justice League are my favorite superhero team ever. You know, they shouldn't. The Suicide Squad shouldn't have a chance. You know, but I guess that's also the point. So I give these four super villains that are not even super villains; they're just criminals for the most part. The closest thing you get to is King Shark, because he's, Shark Man. But everything I saw from the trailer, I enjoyed. I enjoyed all the teases they gave us. I enjoyed all the gameplay aspects of it. I enjoyed after seeing the gameplay, I was more hyped for it because I understood what they were doing. Like they showed them stealing things that they were going to use, and that's how they're traversing, and that's how they're doing this. That explains why
Mhm.
that Captain Boomerang can go so fast. It's not because he has powers, because he stole a device that can give him that ability. Or the reason that Harley is swinging from cloud is not because it's a cloud; it's because she stole a drone from Batman. It's all that's something they stole from wherever they geared up, and the fact that they get their gear upgraded from Gizmo from the I don't know if you know that character, but he's a character of another character from like a Teen Titans villain. But there's so many like different villains that they interact with that I like that too. And then it's just there seems to be a lot of cool, interesting cameos on top of the fact that we get to see how they're able to fight the Justice, an evil version of the Justice League. Because they're obviously brainwashed by Brainiac in some capacity.
Mhm.
I'm curious. I'm probably more interested in the story because I don't understand how they're going to explain it and how they're going to be able to fight Superman and Flash and Batman. And obviously, Wonder Woman seems to be okay. So, like, why, what's up with that? Like, there's a lot of question marks. But gameplay is not really my issue because that does look fun to me. It does seem like there is uniqueness. I know that you saw that they probably use similar guns, but I know that King Shark can bite and like squat, and he is the tank. He uses heavy weapons. You know what I mean? Captain Boomerang is the speedster because he used whatever he's using. He's faster. Deadshot is the sniper because obviously he's Deadshot, right? And Harley's the wild card, most of the time, right? So I'm more everything I saw I was fine with. I know there was the only another issue I probably had was the whole battle pass idea that I really don't like. I had issues with the Avengers doing that, so I'm like, um, if we didn't have to do less of that, I'm fine because I don't really need to be online to play a game. But um, I'm I'm like I did like a lot of the costumes that you were able to get.
Yeah.
Like I like some of the stuff they showed. I'm like, oh, cool, that's a cool skin. I would love that skin as long as it don't cost me $20. Like the
Hmm.
Avengers, fucking crazy. Um, but aside from that, I was excited and look, I'm even fine that they moved it back because I have so much shit to play before it gets here. So cool, move it back. Cool, I'm cool, whatever.
Yeah. I'm definitely with you when it comes to I also thought that the costumes look great. I the battle pass thing with it being limited to the costumes thankfully and not any like gameplay
Right, it's
aspect, so it's
cosmetic
not
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's not pay to win. Which is good. We'll see what like the prices are and hopefully they're reasonable. And I also agree with
that's
you in the fact that I am interested in this story 100%. Like, like what Joanne was saying, like I probably watched the hell out of the cutscenes of this game because it looks like really interesting to me. And I am intrigued as to how they would even come close to attempting to kill, neutralize, capture the Justice League. Um,
right.
Unfortunately for me, though, this gameplay was a different story. It was a different story. But with that, I also saw this is probably Trayvon because I think you mentioned it earlier. At the bottom of our run of the show, I see that Immortals of Avium releases July 20th of this year. For those that have been keeping up with the game, so thank you for the update, Trayvon. It sounded like you were like displeased with it when you mentioned it. Did I read you wrong, or is that true?
No, you didn't. I don't know. Like I watched it and I was like, oh, it just I don't know. It just felt Call of Duty, but magic. I don't know. And I guess
They called it.
I know, and I watched
Mhm.
the thing. Apparently, that's where the inspiration came from. But it just I don't know. It's like from the trailer that I got from the Game Awards, it like was more appealing. I don't know. Just seeing this today, I was like, nah. I was like,
Nah,
okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's no, I don't know. I don't think I like. Okay, don't no nobody come after me. I don't think I like first person shooters like that. So I
I
think
don't.
I thought you were about to
But I get
say
it.
I don't like flying in that game. Because you said like,
Um,
and I was like, first person shooter.
no
Okay,
first
first
person
person.
shooters. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
those are for me. To be
that's
honest,
fair.
like
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's life. I guess that's
Yeah.
life.
Right.
Hopefully,
I'm
there
just
will
surprised
be
it's coming out
something
so
else.
fast though. That was the funny part to me.
I
I
mean,
saw
you
that date.
you
I'm like,
lost
whoa,
Mortals of a Avium, but you saw Final Fantasy 16
I
today, so
did.
there's something else. There's something else for you out there.
Yes, yes.
Um, But before we start to wrap things up, I did want to ask everybody, if you had any piece of gaming news that we haven't talked about today, or rumor, or just, just gaming in general, if you wanted to talk about it before we go, definitely feel free to bring it up now. Otherwise, we'll break things down.
I'll do a manifestation.
Let's hear his manifestation first.
Okay.
Avalanche. Add something to Hogwarts Legacy now. Do it.
Oh, okay. I actually really like that.
Please.
I think
really
they
like
will.
that manifestation.
I think they will.
I gotta finish.
It'll probably be after all the versions come out.
Yeah.
Ooh. I hope they don't wait for that, actually.
Going on Twitch playing the game. They get on Twitch playing the game, and all the comments is like, "Where's the DLC? Where's?" I was like, "Do y'all see these damn comments? Like, stop playing."
They can turn off the comments on y'all. Keep it up.
Yep,
Keep it up. Y'all gonna go on Twitch next time. There's gonna be no comments.
Man, I don't even know if you can do that on Twitch, but they'll make it happen. They'll figure it out.
I'm in the comments like, "Don't go live until you got something."
Dang. They're like, all right, we will not go live anymore. This was the last stream. But I'm definitely especially with the success of Hogwarts Legacy, I definitely feel that there will be some DLC. And I would hope that it would come out before all of the versions come out. Just because, the ports have been pushed back, and ports can be kind of a finicky thing. So I'm hoping, at least for the consoles that do have access to Hogwarts right now, maybe they'll add what would be something you would want to see happen. I know Quidditch is up there for a lot of people, but
oh hell yeah, Quidditch. Be like Final Fantasy X with that game. I can't remember the fucking game. Underwater, weird soccer type of game. You don't remember that? Final Fantasy X. Blitzball.
Okay, I've never played 10. But...
Wow. Okay, yeah, 10 is.
I bought it though.
That's when people talk about Quidditch, but that's not even if they add it, cool. It's not like when that wasn't there. I was like, I'm here for the flying and the magic and fighting. I'm not really care about the Quidditch that much.
Okay.
So I just I want another mission or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe some more curses.
Maybe, or some more they could add some more spells, or I don't know, something like that. That would be cool. I don't, Quidditch is not really high on my list. I need that. No, not really.
Save for a sequel.
Yeah.
I know that I can't remember the guy's name, but I think he's one of the older, the upperclassmen in Slytherin has this really interesting side story. Were you able to play that? Or I don't know if is that limited to just people who get in the Slytherin house, or can everybody play that?
Oh no,
Sebastian.
That's how you get the curses. That's how
you
get
the curses.
Yeah.
So you play that throughout the whole game. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, Jay, to your saying that you hope that they don't wait till all of it. Yeah. One of the they talked to, I forgot what his name was, but he was one of the lead developers on it, and his response was really that there are people out there who still don't have the game in their hands yet. We don't want to shortchange them. We're focusing on getting them the game.
That's fair. That's fair. I respect that.
I really think that nothing's going to be at least announced until then.
Yeah, that's
that
fair.
means not till after the Switch release then.
Yeah, probably.
Man, that's not till July from right now. That was the date. So
you don't think it's going to get pushed again?
I mean, they just pushed the PS4 and the Xbox One version that was supposed to be, I thought it was in March, but I think it's supposed to be this month. They pushed it.
No, it was supposed to be April 4th.
Oh, they pushed it again. I know that. Yeah, so I don't know where, but I know they pushed it again. So.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it came out April 4th. So the fact that you said it got pushed again.
People are still in the comments I still don't have the damn game. So
I'm about to look quickly and see when did it get pushed to. It looks like it would have got pushed to. I don't see a date for that one. Oh God, did it just get scrapped? Did it quietly get scrapped?
I don't think so.
I doubt it would get scrapped. I don't know. Maybe it's just
TBD. May 5th. May 5th now.
Okay, May 5th. I mean, that's not too far away, as long as they can
you got 2-3 weeks?
Yeah, that makes it sound bad. They got 2-3 weeks to do it. But no, yeah, that I mean, hopefully they hit that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, switching to July 25th.
Yeah, I was just seeing that. I didn't want to put that out there because that sounds really far away.
It does. So
I mean, I don't know. I feel like this year's been flying so far.
That's also true.
This is true.
Did it sounded like you were going to bring up something before we
Oh.
closed out.
Yeah, just one quick thing. I know I put it in our group chat. Microsoft is apparently experimenting with the handheld Windows mode specifically for Steam Deck, which is going to be cool because Steam Deck it's on a Linux-based operating system, but the minute it goes to a Windows-based one, you can get things like Xbox Game Pass. You can have not only the Steam store, you can get the Origin store. You can get a lot more stuff because I know that was one of the sort of the limitations of it being Linux-based right now. So that was just something I was.
yeah, they did it. You could do PS
that is rumored to be
and
coming.
everything too.
Yeah.
Possibly.
That would be dope.
So that would unlock the Steam Deck to crazy heights, and it's something that they need because I don't know if you guys saw the what was it, Asus? They're doing a Steam Deck competitor. Weirdly announced it on April Fool's Day, so everybody thought it was a joke, and then they had to say something like 2 or 3 days later, like, yeah, no, this is actually coming. I think it's called like the ROG Ally.
Oh yeah, I think I did hear.
They've been making all those gaming phones, so
yeah, right.
Yeah.
True. Yep, everybody
yeah.
and their mom's coming out with the Steam Deck clone right now, so they definitely, if they can.
I need me a good handheld system.
Yeah,
so that would be great.
Honestly, like, yeah, if you didn't want to invest in a Nintendo Switch but you still wanted a handheld, I would definitely pick the Steam Deck. I would 100% pick the Steam Deck. Plus, you can get emulators. The content on which we cannot talk about because it's technically illegal, but you can get emulators, and you know.
I love emulators for long.
That was a cool piece of news, though. That was good. Joel, you guys have anything else you want to discuss before we go?
Make a Star Wars open world game.
That is in the works.
Ubisoft heard you and they're already on it.
Full circle.
Like we started on that yesterday.
Well, I'm with Trayvon now. Make it when you announce it. Drop it, release it, all in the same day. Just hurry up and do it. Or announce
It's called Project Snowdrop.
I don't know what happened to their other Star Wars game that we had a whole full ass, very confusing fucking trailer for, and then they just wrapped it. Eclipse. Yeah, it'd be nice to hear. Did it die? Like, are you gonna resuscitate?
I think. I could very much so be wrong on this, but I think the developers are swapping or something like that. Like the developers that were working on the project are no longer working on the project. So there's like a lot of like stuff happening in the background with that they have to sort out.
The parent company switched to because it was from Quantic Dream, and I forgot that that obviously other companies underneath it. They switched one of the companies that they were doing it for, if I remember correctly.
Well, I mean, the one good thing that they did is I have no idea what the game is about, how it plays, anything. They only released that very confusing trailer that even me, a diehard Star Wars fan, had no idea what I was looking at, right? So it's like, that's the one good thing they have going for them is that I didn't have expectations. I just wanted to know more. So I'm like, okay, well, what is this? But yeah, Eclipse just disappeared off the face of the earth. So yeah, just
it's still information on that. Everything that I know is it's still in active development.
I hate that word. I hate those words.
My last manifestation give me. I don't want an open world. I mean, I don't know how you would do it, but sure. AAA Power Rangers game, please. Use Power Rangers. Use it. Use the IP.
Do it. Something,
please. That'll be dope.
Yeah.
No disagreements here.
All right.
Yeah.
Can I become an Evil Ranger?
Sure.
Is that a thing?
I'm in. Lord Draken was an Evil Ranger.
Yeah.
Almost the Evil Ranger every season almost.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. You did say
Kakarot Part 2 also.
Oh yeah.
That might be a tough
They're doing
ask.
Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
Oh yeah.
That's
Let's have that
definitely-
instead.
That's
Let's have that
fine.
instead.
Why can't
Well,
we?
they announced
Is that
that.
like this game? Because I've been
No,
playing
No.
it's
Kakarot.
nothing like it. No.
No.
Buddha,
They announced
it goes
Budokai-
back to what
Yeah, they did.
Remember, Trayvon, I told you the reason why I thought you would enjoy Kakarot is because
I
it's
am.
nothing like those other Dragon Ball Z games. Budokai's getting back to what Dragon Ball Z always was.
Yes.
Which is just a fighting.
Forget that.
straight up fighting.
Xenoverse 3. Get me that too.
Oh,
People would
no,
love
they can stop
that.
making those. Yeah, they
I
can
feel
stop
like
making those.
Kakarot, I'm sorry to say,
Take it easy.
Jawan, I feel like it's on the bottom of the list because a lot of people didn't really enjoy what they did to the story in particular. Like there were a lot of things that were cut out. And like I guess the gameplay was not as appealing for people. I personally can't say because I've bought Kakarot, but I haven't played it yet. So
I
yeah,
have now
it's
played Kakarot
it's-
on 3 different systems, and the gameplay is just fun.
I love it. I'm loving it. So
It's
far.
cool.
Like,
It's cool. It's
I still gotta
if
play
I'm
it.
picking of a recent I'd rather play Fighters again over it, and I'd rather still play Xenoverse over it.
No, I
So-
get you. I get the preference idea, but to me, again, I believe in franchises that are expansive. I should be able to expand myself. I understand it's always been just a straight up fighting game.
Xenoverse
I
is very
completely
open
get it.
world.
It is, but they make me create a character. I don't want to be me. I want to be
I
Goku.
want
you don't
I
have to
wanna
be you.
Vegeta.
You can make anybody you
also
want.
You can make and also agree with you there. When I was able to create a character who was able to go Super Saiyan 3, go Super Saiyan Blue, oh, it was amazing. I just saw in the latest update you can get the Beast mode. Let me tell you, I'm about to go load up Xenoverse after this.
I didn't
so
know
I
they
can go
did
get
that.
Beast mode.
Oh
Yes.
Yeah, no, to me, I want a part 2 of Kakarot because if the storylines that they utilize can play out that well and be that much fun, for me, just my opinion, what Super did is just like, oh, I can only imagine that. I can only imagine how much fun Super would be
Now
in the form of Kakarot.
I think they could. I feel
Make
like I
DLC
would,
for Kakarot.
I would put a bet that they would do
I'm
something
done
like
with
that for
DLC.
Super and like kind of adapt some of the Kakarot style. But as far as just like doing something that's like a Kakarot again, but just Super, I don't see that happening just based on fan perception. But you know, I could very much so be wrong. I could be
See,
wrong.
No,
this is
you could
why-
very much be right, but
This is
go ahead,
why
Trayvon, sorry.
I have a problem with the Injustice games. Like that's why I don't really like playing them. It's just a fighting game. I'd rather have it an open world type of game to play with the actual characters. It annoys me when they're right there, but I can't like use them. Like, it's like, oh, okay, it's the fighting game. Yay. like
That is the purpose of a
we
fighting
always
game.
get Batman games. Like, how about some other of the Justice League? Like,
I disagree with that. I completely agree. Same thing with Spider-Man. That's why that Wolverine game is very much like gimme, gimme, gimme.
yes.
Same thing for Wonder Woman. I agree, but that's why I'm saying just do more open world games with these characters that you want to explore with. You know what I'm saying? Like if you give me a Flash game, don't have it be like a Sonic type game. Like let me actually run around, like run up buildings and shit. Like really just go wild with the Flash. Anything that the Flash can do in the comics, I should be able to do in that fucking game.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. So I totally agree with you, and I think we'll get there. But I think Wonder Woman has to be a success because if it's not, they'll fucking go right back to the well. Give us another Batman game. Not complaining. Very much will look forward to it. But that's just how it goes. Like that Wonder Woman game doesn't do well. They're gonna go, well, Gotham Knights Part 2, guys. It's coming your way.
No, they won't do that. They'll not pick up the
They
Knights
will-
right part.
If one thing I know, well, yes, okay, that's fair. But if one thing I know about Warner Brothers is that they will go back to the well. So we will
They
have
will.
another Batman game if that Wonder Woman game does not do well.
Yeah,
That is for
probably.
sure. That is 100%. I mean, that's just what they've been churning out over like what the last decade. It's just Batman games,
Yeah,
different variations of Batman games.
maybe Superman. Throw Superman in there. He would work.
That would be awesome. That would be 100%.
Give
But
us something.
Superman goes to why we need open world. Flying around with Superman would be fucking dope. Like that's awesome. That's great. I love that. Give
That
us
would
more
be
open
cool.
world.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Spin bars. I don't disagree. But with that, I think we will close out things for the night. I appreciate all of you for being here and giving me some of your time. It's been great having these conversations, going through what's been happening the past couple of months. It's kind of flown by, crazily enough. But I'll start with you, Dig, up top. Where can people find you if they want to see more of you and your content?
You can find me personally at Dig_D, and that is DIDGE_D. But most importantly, you can find all of my content, well, most of my content on the Geekset Podcast page, which is Geekset Podcast everywhere, except for our review content, which is exclusively on Sway's Universe. So please check all of that out.
All right. And you, Joel, where can people find you on the internet?
If you really want to find me, it's very hard. I don't tweet very much. But on Twitter, if you're going to look, Joel_JOEL, right? _J27 on Twitter. I'll be there, retweeting mostly. But sometimes I'll throw in a comment here or there on the GVN page, where you also can find me, which I do much ado about nothing most of the time on Mondays with y'all. And that's really it at the moment. Sometimes we do sports, but it's mostly just GVN shows. So if you need to find me, I'll just look for GVN.
All right, Jawan, where can people stalk you?
Me personally, no one has access to that. So you can just follow the GVN channel.
I do. DM me. I'm kidding.
He's got the insider scoop. And Trayvon, where can people follow you, find out more about your Hogwarts Legacy journey?
nerdwiththetech everywhere. I mean, I do have some playthrough on YouTube. If you want to watch it, sure.
No, do it. People go watch it.
Go
check it out.
Amazing.
I'm not gonna be honest that I just played a little bit and the rest of it was for me. So I didn't record all of it. So, you see my start at least, my start of my journey. But yeah, that's it pretty much. And Geek Vibes Nation, I'm on various shows that Jawan kidnaps me to make me do sometimes. All right, yeah.
All right, send help. And with that, we're gonna close out the show. I hope everybody enjoyed. Leave down in the comments below if you have a piece of gaming news that we haven't talked about. Definitely make sure to let us know, because we would love to hear it. And what are your general thoughts about things that are happening, especially Tears of the Kingdom? Tell me how much you love Tears of the Kingdom. And with that, I hope everybody has a nice eating word. Whatever's, enjoy it. And I will see you guys all next time. Like and subscribe. See you later. Bye.